You ever get the feeling life just shoves you aside when you need it most? That was me, right there, seat 14C, and honestly, I never felt smaller than I did at that exact moment. So, here's what happened early morning, Denver airport, that washed out blue light seeping through the windows, and I'm just sitting there, old knees aching, my hands folded, waiting to get on a flight to Maryland. My name's Frank Delaney, and yeah, I've been around Marine Corps, Nam, you name it. But that day, I was just a grandpa, hoping to see my granddaughter walk across a stage in Annapolis, wearing a uniform like I used to wear. That seat, 14C, wasn't just a seat, it was a little bit of mercy for a busted knee that's never quite healed. Paid extra for it, out of my pension. 3 months in advance, you know how it goes. I boarded early, no fuss, steady hand on the rail, did the whole slow shuffle down the jet bridge, and let myself drop into that aisle seat, felt the relief wash over me for about, 3 minutes? That's when the commotion started up front. Some family, all split up by the airline's busted system. Mom with 2 little kids, juggling bags and anxiety. A flight attendant in her pressed uniform, Kayla, comes over, all polite, but you can hear the edge in her voice, sir. We need you to move. A family needs to sit together. She's got that look that says she's already had enough trouble for one day. I told her, ma'am, I booked this seat for medical reasons. She nodded, but you know that nod, right? The one that's really just waiting for you to say yes. It's just for this flight, sir. We really appreciate your cooperation. That silence, stretched, so thin you could hear the hum of the air vent. I glanced at the kids one of them was crying in, then down on my hands, those old scars from another life. What's the alternative? I asked, and she tapped her tablet, didn't even look me in the eye. Seat 32B, sir. Middle row. You ever been stuck in the back, next to the lavatory, nothing but elbows and knees everywhere? That's where she wanted to put me. I shook my head, tried to explain. I can't sit there. My knee will make it 5 hours. She didn't back down if I didn't move. We couldn't close the doors. And just like that, I'm not just a tired old man trying to see his granddaughter graduate. I'm suddenly the guy holding up the whole flight. You could feel everyone staring, that weird social pressure where you know you're the villain in somebody else's story. So I stood up, told her my name, gave her my rank, asked her to note that I was being pressured to give up a medically necessary seat. No drama, no yelling, just defeated. Picked up my bag, limped to the back, seat 32 cramped, smells like old coffee and cleaning fluid, stuck between a college kid with headphones and a businessman fighting me for armrest supremacy. No one even noticed me, or so I thought. But 3 rows up, across the aisle, a woman in a blazer watched the whole thing. Charlotte Hayes. She didn't say a word, just started typing on her phone, sent a message to a friend in airline customer service. Passenger with medical need, forced to give up seat. Crew dismissive. Please escalate. Didn't know it at the time, but sometimes the smallest actions echo the loudest. The flight dragged on, my knees screaming with every mile. Nobody looked up. Nobody said anything. The college kid watched movies. The businessman typed away, stealing space like it was owed to him. And me, I just tried to disappear. Charlotte kept watching. Every now and then her eyes flickered my way, like she was making a mental note of every injustice. Now, here's where things start to turn. Up in the cockpit, Captain David Miller, ex-Air Force, gets a message something about a veteran force from his seat, medical need, escalation requested. He sees my name, and it sparks something in him. Hits the pause button on the pre-flight, steps out of the cockpit hole, cabin goes quiet. People look up, phones drop to laps. The captain walks straight down the aisle, uniform sharp, presence undeniable. He stops at my row, and before I even know what's happening, he salutes MECRISP, formal, real. Staff Sergeant Frank Delaney, he says, on behalf of this airline and as a fellow serviceman, I apologize. You should never have been asked to move. We're going to make this right. Then he turns to Kayla, the attendant, and says, you will personally escort this gentleman to seat 1A. If it's taken, ask for a volunteer. If no one gives it up, take the co-pilot's seat. If that's not available, I'll give up mine. The cabin holds its breath. I try to protest old habits, but the captain steadied me, helped me up. The businessman and college kid finally noticed, looked away, shamed into silence. Every row I passed, I felt eyes on me, but now it was respect, not pity. When we got to first class, Kayla explained to the man in 1A what was happening, and he just stood up. No argument, just a quiet, "It's an honor, sir." I sat down, finally able to stretch my knee, and I felt like I'd been given back a piece of myself. Then, from halfway down the cabin, another man stood up, late 30s, shaved head, jeans, and a hoodie. Voice shaking. "Staff Sergeant Delaney, I served under you. Camp Leatherneck, 2006. You saved my life." He couldn't say more, just nodded, tears streaming down his face. That's when it hit. Mizama times, your sacrifices echo in ways you never expect. Captain Miller got on the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, before we depart, I need to address a mistake made today. We asked a veteran to give up his seat, not because of an error, but because a policy valued convenience over honor. We will not take off while injustice sits quietly in this cabin." He let it hang in the air, and then he said, "If this flight is late, I'll wear every minute as a badge of pride." And with that, the whole cabin erupted in applause, real, honest, none of that polite nonsense. I didn't know where to look, just sat there, hands folded, seen for the first time in a long while. When we landed in Annapolis, I waited until everyone else had gone. The crew thanked me, not just out of habit, but with meaning. Charlotte Hayes passed me in the jet bridge, squeezed my shoulder, whispered, "You reminded us who we're supposed to be." My granddaughter was there at baggage claim, sign in hand, eyes brimming. She hugged me, hard-assed about my knee, worried as ever. I just said, "Had a bad seat." Someone stood up, but it didn't end there. The story made the round. Someone filmed the captain's speech, Charlotte wrote it up, and by the end of the week, people were talking about the salute at 32B. Letters came in, one from the airlinea, lifetime guest of honor. No more fees, no more codes. Another from the Army, finally setting the record straight about what happened in Vietnam all those years ago. Even got a note from a Marine I'd never met, saying he survived because I wouldn't quit. It was enough to make an old man cry, if I'm being honest. These days, life's the same house, same coffee, same limp. But I walk a little taller, not because I'm proud, but because, for once, I know I was seen. Sometimes a seat's just a seat, and sometimes it's a second chance at dignity. Not all heroes want recognition. Most just want to know someone's not going hungry or left behind. But if nobody tells these stories, we all lose something. So let's hear it. What do you think? Was justice served? Or was it too little, too late? Do we still know how to do right by each other when it matters? Drop your thoughts below. Where do you stand on what's fair, what's right, and what community really means? Because sometimes all it takes is a little kindness to turn the world right side up again.